Okay, so now we'll come to the correctness of this algorithm. Okay, remember, as I said, a greedy algorithm is worthless until you can argue that it is actually correct. Okay. So, um, so the algorithm that we proposed was that we recursively pick the interval that ends first, which has the smallest finish time. And we throw out conflicting intervals and we recurse. Okay, now there may be different ways to prove this. There are different ways to prove this. One approach is it basically uses the exchange trick that we talked about, right? The argument that we made that we can always, to any solution, we can add the interval that uh, ends first, which has the least finish time, maybe throw out one, okay, without making the solution worse. Right, so we can all using this exchange argument and using induction. Okay, basically we use an induction on the number of intervals that we have. If you have n intervals, we argue that we can, if you have n intervals, we argue that we can always, there is going to be an optimal solution that contains the first interval that has the least finish time. And then once you pick that, you, of course, that solution cannot have the conflicting intervals. So you throw those out and you're left with a smaller set of intervals. Okay. And by using the inductive hypothesis that on the smaller subset, your algorithm returns the correct output, you can add this interval that you first picked and get the optimal solution to the overall solution, to the overall problem. Okay, but I wanted to share another correctness proof that is also often times found in the while proving the correctness of greedy algorithms. Okay, so the claim that we are trying to make is that the greedy algorithm, basically the greedy algorithm, okay, by the greedy algorithm, I mean the algorithm that picks the, recursively picks the interval with the least finish time. Okay, not the first two failed attempts, but the last one. So the greedy algorithm returns an optimal solution. Okay, this is the claim we want to prove. Okay, and proof will basically be by contradiction. Okay. Okay, so suppose not, right? Suppose that the greedy solution is not optimal, right? Okay. So let's say this is the solution returned by our greedy algorithm. So it's clearly going to consist of some set of non-overlapping intervals, right? Okay. Let's say this is the solution returned by our greedy algorithm. And just for convenience, let's label these intervals I1, I2, I3, and so on. Okay, maybe there are k intervals in the output of the greedy algorithm. Okay, so what we are now, by contradiction, we are supposing that this solution is not optimal. Okay, now can there be an optimal solution which contains all these intervals I1, I2, I3, and so on, Ik, and maybe some more intervals? Is that possible? Well, if you think about it, it is not possible. Okay, because any other interval that you would add to this has at some point been discarded by the greedy algorithm. Right? The greedy algorithm threw out that interval, and that greedy algorithm throws out intervals only if there is a conflict. Right? So all the remaining intervals are conflicting with either one of them, maybe I1 or I2 or I3, at least one of these intervals it's going to conflict with. Okay, so if an optimal solution contains I1, I2, I3, all of them up till Ik, then it cannot contain any more. Okay, and in that sense, then the greedy solution itself is optimal, right? So if we are saying the greedy solution, so in that case we are done, right? There's nothing left to prove. But if we are saying that this greedy solution, the one that we have shown here, if this is not optimal, then the optimal solution cannot contain all the intervals I1 to Ik. Okay, it might contain some of them. Maybe one optimal solution will just contain I1, right? It will just contain I1 and then it'll have some other intervals. Maybe another optimal solution will contain I1, I2, and then some other intervals. Okay, so there may be different possible optimal solutions, right? Now, we will consider the optimal solution um, that has the most number of initial intervals in common with this greedy solution. Okay, so what we are saying is consider, or maybe I'll write this out, that what we just said, no optimal solution can contain all the intervals. Right? It cannot contain all the intervals I1 to Ik. Okay, so some of them have to be missing. Okay, so now we are saying consider out of all the optimal solutions, consider the optimal solution that has the most number of initial intervals in common with the greedy one. Okay. So what we mean by this, let's maybe call this greedy solution G. So we have our greedy solution here, which is I1, I2, I3, and so on. Okay, and finally you have Ik. And we said this greedy is not optimal, but we are considering some optimal solution, maybe call it O, which has the maximum number of, it has the maximum number of intervals, initial intervals in common. So maybe it has I1, I2, I3, it has all these up to some point IP. Okay, so it's up till here, all these intervals are the same in the greedy and in the optimal solution. Okay, now the next interval here, the greedy solution has IP plus 1, and this one has some others. Okay, so over here, we're not talking about this part. Okay, so this part can be something, it is something different. Okay, so only till this point are the intervals the same. IP plus 1 is not part of the optimal solution. Okay, and crucially, we are saying IP plus 1 cannot be part of any optimal solution that has I1 till IP. Okay, we are saying here it has the most number of initial intervals in common. Okay, so if there was an optimal solution that had all these intervals, we would have considered that, right? If it included IP plus 1. Okay, so what we are saying is no optimal solution contains all the intervals I1, I2, IP, and IP plus 1, right? This is not happening, because if this would happen, we would have picked that as our O, our optimal solution. Okay. Okay, so now I think some of you are already getting an idea. So now let's zoom in on this part. Okay, this is where all the interesting thing is happening. So if we look at that, so we have this interval in the greedy solution, we have some intervals, then we have this interval IP, and then the next interval in the greedy algorithm is IP plus 1. Okay, in our optimal solution, we have the same intervals, and here optimal solution also has IP, but now the next interval is not IP plus 1, right? So this next interval is what we are going to look at. Now, what will this next interval in the optimal solution, what will this interval look like? Okay, can it be something like this? Okay, and the answer is clearly no, it cannot be like this. Why? Because if this interval, if the optimal solution had an interval like this interval would not conflict with any of I1 till IP. It's not going to conflict with any of them, right? And its finish time is less than this finish time. Okay, so the greedy algorithm would have in fact picked this interval instead of this interval, right? Because the greedy algorithm always picks the algorithm, always picks the interval that ends first. Okay, and by the time the greedy algorithm would have reached this point here, it would have picked IP, this interval would still be remaining amongst the other intervals, right? Interval would not have been discarded, and so the greedy algorithm would have picked that. Okay, so we cannot have an interval like this which ends before IP plus 1. Okay, so clearly the next interval in the optimal solution has to be something like this. Okay, it can start anytime after IP ends, but its finish time clearly has to be after the finish time of IP plus 1. Okay, either the same finish time of IP plus 1 or later. It cannot end before IP plus 1. Okay, so that is the case. And the subsequent intervals in the optimal solution, whatever, they're going to be non-overlapping. Right, so this interval will start after this particular interval ends, and so on. Okay, now what do we observe? Okay, now we observe that now we come back to our friend, our exchange trick, in that we can, in the optimal, sorry, in this optimal solution O, we can discard this particular interval and add this particular interval without affecting the optimality. Right? Do you see that? I can, in the optimal solution O, in this solution, I will add this interval IP plus 1, and it is going to conflict with exactly one interval, which is this interval here. Okay. Its finish time is before the finish time of this, so it cannot conflict with any of these other intervals in O, and clearly IP plus 1 does not conflict with any of these intervals, okay, because it was picked by the greedy algorithm itself. So I can add this IP plus 1 to this solution O and remove this particular interval to get another optimal solution, maybe O dash. Okay. So consider the set of intervals O dash, which is got by adding this interval IP plus 1 to O. Okay. And of course, we have to discard this conflicting interval. Okay. So now what we observe is that this set of intervals O dash has the same number of intervals as O. Okay, and they are all non-overlapping, so it is also an optimal solution. So O dash has the same number of non-overlapping intervals as O, and hence is optimal, right? Okay, and this leads to a contradiction, right? Because over here we had inferred that no optimal solution can contain I1, I2 all the way till IP plus 1, and here we have constructed a O dash, which is such a optimal solution. Okay, so that leads to a contradiction, which proves the correctness of our algorithm. Okay, so many of these proofs of greedy algorithms will have a similar skeleton, right? Is that you consider some optimal solution, okay? You assume that the greedy solution is not optimal, and you consider an optimal solution and try and exchange some part of the optimal solution with the greedy solution, with the part that the greedy solution would have picked, right? In this case, IP plus 1 was the interval that the greedy would have picked, and we try and somehow modify the optimal solution by this exchange, right? Doing some sort of an exchange, and to show that even that IP plus one, that is also part of the optimal solution. Okay? This exchange does not lower the quality of the optimal solution, right? After the exchange, the solution is still optimal. And iteratively, if you can argue that for one such piece, then iteratively, it would mean that all the choices made by the greedy algorithm are correct. Right? That would indeed result in an optimal solution.